Christian Charles Philip Bale. Born in January 30th, 1974 in Haverfordwest, Pembrokeshire, Wales. Christian Bale is one of the most iconic actors in the movie business. He is Welsh, and he is astounding. He is called in the acting business what is called a chameleon, to where he can enter any role and he becomes the character, to where when you look at that character, you don't see Christian Bale, you see the character. He is that good of an actor. He's able to change himself. He's one of the best actors in the entire business. And it is why he is one of my favorite actors of all time. So, this is why I have decided to go on a journey. A journey through many, many films. I have decided to watch every single Christian Bale movie every movie that Christian Bale is in. Which, whenever you, if you look it up and you go on IMDb and you see all the movies that I've ranked, you're like, wait, there's more movies. There's certain exceptions to what I'm about to say, but for the most part, I have watched almost every single movie Christian Bale has been in, minus a few that are not, like, I didn't have access to without having to spend money or something, I hope you understand. But there is only, but out of all this ranking, I just want to point this out, there is one film that I'm intentionally not watching, and I have a reason for it. It is the movie called Terminator Salvation. It is one of the middle films, and Christian Bale is in it, right? And you're like, oh, well, you should watch it since Christian Bale. Terminator is also a series of movies, and I don't want to touch that. You know what I mean? If I were to watch the movie, right, I want to give each movie a fair shot at what it's going to present. So, upon that, I cannot watch Terminator Salvation because that is, like, I think the fourth movie in the series, which, I won't be able to understand it as much as other movies. So don't get mad at me for not watching that. There are a couple other films that I literally just could not find on the internet. Like movies like Mew's Thing. I could not find the English dub to a movie. I think I forgot. It was some anime-esque movie that I could not watch because of it doesn't have I couldn't find the English dub because he plays a character as in the English dub, and I couldn't find it. So that's why I decided not to watch that movie, as much as I did want to watch the movie. So yeah, so I hope you enjoy. We'll be ranking 40 Christian Bale movies from worst to best, and along the way, you'll see little clips from each movie, and I want you to get to know Christian Bale just as much as I do, and I want you to have a little bit of fun with it. So we're gonna put some quiz questions in there. So I'm gonna put some things. I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna give you a list of answers, and you just gotta have to guess. And I'm gonna give you the answer at the end. Just some little fun facts about our boy, the Bale, the Christian Bale. Yeah. So after this journey, you'll know what movies to watch and what movies to skip if you're wanting to go on a Christian Bale journey like I did. This took me weeks to prepare, so I hope you enjoy. Another film that will be included in this, but it'll probably only be at the end, is a movie called Amsterdam, which is coming out, I think, in 2 or 3 months from when I'm recording this intro. So I'll include it at the end, and I will tell you where it would have been. So I just want to let you know that. So I hope you enjoy this ranking of all the Christian Bale movies I've seen. And you'll know which ones to see and which ones you kind of want to skip. So I hope you enjoy me ranking every single Christian Bale movie. Hope you enjoy. But before we enter the ranking, I want to start with a quiz question. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Welcome to Christian Bale quiz. How well do you know the actor Christian Bale? And if you don't know, I'll give you the answer, and you learn some new things. It's always good to learn. So we will be doing this for every 5 movie reviews. So we're gonna start with this one. Question number 1. Da, 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 da. Number 1. What did Christian Bale's mother do for a living? Was it A, commercial pilot, B, she was an actress, C, she was a circus performer, or D, a Broadway singer? I'll give you a little bit of time to answer this question. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I hope you answered that question correct. If you gave the answer circus performer, you are correct. Good job if you got it right. If you didn't, the more you know. There's no detriment. You can add a point to your little scorecard if you're keeping score. And now we'll move on to the reviews. I hope you enjoy number 40. All right.
There's no point in doing something if you're not going to do it absolutely, do it to the hilt. And so, there did come a point when I suddenly started to get more satisfaction out of it and realizing there was something that, even though I can't quite bring myself to say something of worth to it, that I can say something worth me doing it for. And if I'm going to do it, if I'm going to take the time to do it, then I want to do it in as much of an immersive way as possible, because you just come to learn in life that the things that you really get a kick out of are the things that you just can't deny. They're the things that when you're doing them, you can think of nothing else but what you're doing.
Dig your own holes. Die in them.
Oi! I said no! No, Quinn!
Get out of my way, Quinn.
All right, and for number 40, we have the movie called Reign of Fire. And this movie is a dragon movie. And, you would expect, for like a dragon movie, like, ooh, dragons, mine go burr. And I think that's what they were trying to go for. But, I don't know, this movie was very empty and just... Yeah, this is definitely the worst of the bunch to me. Maybe there was maybe some intrigue. I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't fully paying attention in this movie. I lost focus. I was focusing on different things when I was watching this film. But from what I saw, it was like, like even like when there's like little dragon moments of like the dragon, like, oh no, the dragon's coming. I just didn't feel much emotion for it. It was just, oh yeah, there's a dragon. There's a dragon. There be a dragon there. It's just like, you'd think you'd find some danger in that, but like, I didn't feel anything. I don't know, man. Christian Bale gives a satisfactory performance. There was an interesting thing. I was just like, they seriously did that. They made a Star Wars reference. They literally told the story of like a certain part of Star Wars in that film, and I was just like, they were allowed to do that? It was just kind of weird, you know? So yeah, this movie is definitely the worst of the bunch. It might not be as bad as the next one I'm going to mention, but it is only because I wasn't paying attention fully that I want to put this at the bottom. Matthew McConaughey is also in here, and he gives a, I don't know. It's a performance, people. Yeah, so this movie is definitely going on the bottom list for number 40, Reign of Fire. And off to the next one.
You wanted to see me?
We need arms. Machine guns, ammunition, landmines, anything you can spare.
How can I give you weapons? You know I can't do that.
You've surrendered. If you don't intend to fight, you won't be needing your weapons. We have a country to defend.
There is a massive build-up of German troops on the mainland. The 117th Jaeger Division is nearing the Corinth Canal. The 104th is moving south from Yugoslavia.
Then you are not in any position to resist.
Unless we act now. Do you know, Captain? On Lefkada Island, all the Italians who surrendered have been sent to prison camps in the north.
We heard they went home.
The trains were diverted in Albania. In this war, Captain, it's hard to know who you can trust. But one thing is certain. You can't trust the Germans.
For number 39, we have, good lord, the true bottom of the list. The one that I couldn't even finish because it was so bad. It is the movie called Captain Corelli's Mandolin, a Nicolas Cage movie. And I'm not like a crazy Nicolas Cage person, you know. Like The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent was a pretty good film, but that was mainly because I feel like it was boosted way much by the chemistry between Pedro Pascal and Nicolas Cage. But this one is just Nicolas Cage and then maybe a flash of Christian Bale, because Christian Bale is barely in this movie. This movie is mainly a romance between Nicolas Cage's character and this girl. When the girl is initially married to Christian Bale, you know, biggest mistake, a terrible trade-off, you know. A terrible trade-off. Just like trash. You're gonna choose an Italian Nicolas Cage, like, I'm a soldier. Sorry to any Italians out there. But this film's super cringe, cliche. Nicolas Cage's character is stupid in it. Yeah, and Christian Bale's character wasn't that interesting. I didn't watch like the last 15 minutes. I couldn't finish it, man. This was the only movie that I could not finish that is on this list. There's another movie that I started and I couldn't finish, but it's not on the list because I only watched like first 10 minutes. I couldn't understand the dialogue at all. I was like, what's happened? Can you tell it's... Can you tell it was a Shakespeare play? Anyways, moving on from that. Yeah, so this definitely goes... This is the true bottom of the list. The other one is just there because I wasn't fully paying attention. So I'm like, maybe if I rewatched it, maybe. I'm not going to. But if I did, you know. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, for number 39, we have Captain Corelli's Mandolin. Now off to number 38.
Clerk, lights out. Maybe more than a dozen inside.
When the door's down, blow the bulbs.
Yes, sir.
Go.
Okay, for number 38, this film was not, I did not expect this. So I didn't expect this film to have any movies below it for a while. The other two films came later in the list, later in my watch things. And, so this movie, obviously, is, this number 38 is, Equilibrium. And this movie, I already heard this movie was bad. And when I watched it, the fight scenes are cool, kinda. But besides that, on this list, this might be Christian Bale's worst performance. But that's it. You know what I mean? The movie is very empty. It's just Christian Bale, obviously. So Christian Bale's performance is very empty in this movie, and there is an excuse for that, right? But even when he starts to just show emotion, because his character is supposed to be like this emotionless thing, where like everyone is supposed to be like, in order for there to be peace, that we must not show strong forms of emotion. You know what I mean? And eventually, obviously Christian Bale's character learns, oh, maybe emotions aren't that bad, so he starts to show them. But even then, Christian Bale's performance wasn't that strong, and this is a decently aged Christian Bale. So you would think his performance would convey more, you know what I mean? But it didn't really. This movie was kind of just empty, you know? The only thing I can give it is the film had kind of cool fight scenes. That's it. Yeah. Another thing I want to point out is if you've seen Gotham, the technically the face villain is a person who plays Alfred, which that's a good actor. So sad that the movie's sad that the movie was bad. So yeah, moving on to number 37.
Do you remember how happy we were? We used to sing in the morning, coming down the stairs. I meant to make you happy. I wanted nothing else. But then you began to be angry with me. Just for little things. Just don't threaten me with leaving, okay? Just do what you want to do. Just go.
Alright, for number 37, this movie is different from the others. From this entire 40 movies, this movie holds on a different plane. It doesn't make it good, but this movie's weird. This movie's called The Night, hold on, give me a second. The Knight of Cups. And, this movie's very different. It's artsy. It conveys everything in a very different way. There's barely any actual dialogue. Like there's like a narration. There's narration throughout the entire movie. But yeah, this movie. So Christian Bale obviously plays the main character in this movie, and his character is lost. He's just doesn't know what to do with his life, and he just goes around partying, all that stuff, falls in love with a bunch of women, and we see his life and see how the women in his life have impacted him. Sounds like a good concept. I wish it was more presented in a more normal way, because if its presentation, I just felt like, was there a plot? You know what I mean? Like, if they didn't convey everything through narration and all that, I would be like, yes, this is a good type of film. You know, see how the women shape this man's life. That's good. That's a good concept. But the way it's presented just feels so found footage. You know what I mean? Also did not appreciate the stripper scenes. So we're not going to talk about that. Da, 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 da. Anyways, so yeah, for number 37, I almost said 36. For number 37, we have The Knight of Cups. Off to number 36. Alright, for number 36, we have the movie The Big Short. This film is a little boring, but there's a gap between the last movie here and this movie, because it has some entertaining moments. It's fun, but the concept. So I have to give props to the director here, because he's taking a very boring topic and making it at least semi-interesting. Like, talking about economics for a movie, that's hard to make interesting unless you're like a math whiz. So taking on a task like that is kind of difficult. So the fact that he made it at least semi-interesting. I like the little cameos like Margot Robbie and whoever that one chef was, and Selena Gomez, to explain some of the things. Like, I like how they tried to explain it to you if you're not like, if you're in a math whiz, like, I know economics kind of thing. But yeah, Christian Bale's barely in this movie. Weirdly enough, I think the movie would have done better if they focused more on the others and not Christian Bale. And I was like, oh, dun, dun, dun. How dare you? He played a role that, while I understand his role in the movie, it doesn't quite make sense that he got so much, like, either he should have gotten more screen time or he should have gotten less. That's my case. All right? Either he should have gotten more or less. That's all. So yeah, for number 36, we have The Big Short. And now let us move on to number 35. And after those 5 movies reviews, we enter question number 2. Welcome to the Christian Bale quiz. How much do you know of this man, this wonderful actor? So here's question number 2. How old is Christian Bale as of 2022? Because that's the year I'm recording this, so of course. Is he A, 36, B, 50, C, 42, D, 48? I'll give you a little bit of time. It's probably not going to be an equal amount of time. Do 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 do. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And time's up. I hope you guessed the right answer. If you guessed 48, you got a point. Yay, good job. Yes, he is 48 as of 2022. I'm not sure if he's, gone up in age since you've been since when this post comes around. I don't know when his birthday. I should know. But yeah, as of right now, as I'm recording this, he is 48. You can add a little point to your little scorecard if you're keeping track. If not, if you got it wrong, the more you know, It's always good to learn new information. And now let's move on to the next movie reviews. Hope you enjoy those.
Gave him the best advice when it came to playing Batman. What was that advice?
I didn't really give him any sort of
Costume advice.
exciting advice at all, or anything that was particularly deep. But two things. Just I said, be able to turn your head, because it's a nightmare when you can't turn your head when you're meant to be fighting people. Having a cape is silly when you're in a fight anyway, but we just have to ignore that. Number of times it ends up over your face is ridiculous. But mostly that if you're going to play a superhero, be able to take a piss by yourself, because otherwise it doesn't feel very superheroic, So I just said have a zipper or something so he can take care of business himself, whereas I had to have somebody take care of business for me.
No. That's amazing. Have you seen the trailer yet?
I watched it with my son. It looks great. Yeah,
it's gonna be
yeah,
good, huh?
yeah.
And this film, Night of Cups, aside from Terrence Malick, what was it about this character and this film that got you on board?
Well, I'd known Terry for coming on 8 years now, and I could see when we made a film called The New World together, and he had a script, but he just really ignored it. And then we kept in touch. He's a great company, and he just said to me, hey, you know what? He wants to try something new. He's bored of kind of scripts and scenes where there's a goal at the end of it. He just wanted to do something where we didn't know what was going to happen and just sort of made it up as we went along. And I like Terry a lot. I probably wouldn't have done that with many directors, but with Terry, he's one of the greatest American filmmakers. So yeah.
I am going to eat my rice. I'm going to eat my... No, you are not. I'm going to eat that rice. Huh? I'm going to eat that rice because it is my rice.
You are not.
I will eat my rice.
We're not going to eat that rice.
My rice.
That is not your rice. That is our rice. Okay?
Oh, I see.
And I'll tell you what. I'm not going to let you out of your handcuffs tonight. Okay? Because I still have the key.
Oh, I see. See, let me see if I have this right. You're the warden himself now. Is that right? Is that right? Do I have that? Got that right?
Okay.
And for number 35, we have the movie Rescue Dawn. One of the few movies on here I could actually find on YouTube for free. Yeah. It's just, I don't know why that's one about it. The main thing I want to... So once again, there is a gap between this film and the last film. There's quite a few gaps, And what I want to, if you can hear thunder, by the way, some terrible timing. Anyways, yeah, so this film, so the star of the show wasn't Christian Bale. It was this certain actor who's playing a crazy guy, and that was interesting. I liked his performance. The plot itself, it got static somewhere towards the middle, and then a death in there. It didn't really make much impact on me. You would think it would, but it didn't. Yeah, I could tell it was based on a true story. It was kind of creepy, and then they bring back the character as an illusion. Like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Some of the plot was a little static, and some of the things were treated a little weird. Christian Bale did a fine job. Yeah, that's basically all I got about this film. Yeah, that's my review. That was my review of this film, Rescue Dawn. So now we've talked about number 35. We'll move on to number 34. Okay, so for number 34, we have the movie that I struggled to find. Initially, I was looking for this movie. It says it in the movie and all that stuff. This movie was initially called The Prince of Jutland. But then apparently, I don't know why, on the website, in order to find the movie on the platform, it's titled Royal Deceit, which is kind of weird. But hey, I found the film. Yay! And it was decent. It was okay. I wish so. Let me get my complaints out of the way. The ending was a little too short. The final fight. This movie is very Hamlet. Well, is it Hamlet? Kinda. Kinda. I don't know. I was getting those vibes, you know. Christian Bale does a good job in this movie. He plays a trick. Obviously, a person who does deceits. He's the main character. I found this funny. So, like, when something bad happened, right, in the film, he wasn't like, oh no. He was. He started barking like a madman, and I'm just like, excuse me, what's happening? What is happening? I was so concerned, and I just started dying of laughter because I was like, what? Huh? It just sounded like, you know, the average person responding to trauma. Christian Bale's character. It's such a weird one. He just started barking like a dog, and like when he was, I was like, Peter Pan. Peter Pan. Yes, this film was okay. Some of the middle area was a little weird. The romance was rushed. I did not appreciate this. So there's something in the beginning that I did not appreciate about this movie. And there was a little, like, short, like, few second scene of a bunch of naked women going into a room and splashing each other with water. And, like, I was like, okay, I don't like that this is in the movie, but maybe there's a point to it. There was not. It was just there. So what you're telling me is that the film crew wanted a bunch of women to strip down, go into it, and splash each other with water. Huh? 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 Weird? Huh? Why? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? It's just kind of weird. Like why? What? Why? You know? you know? Like, why?
Why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
Like, what? Anyways, this was an okay movie. Christian Bale put on a good performance. The rest of the crew, I guess, did decently. It was an okay movie. So yeah, that's my review right there. So that is why Royal Deceit is number 34. And now we are going to move on to number 33.
No, it's beautiful. Put it on. Come on. Come on. Look at that. Please. Perfect for you.
Really? I felt like we had a secret. Just the two of us. You know, like that thing when you just want to be with the one person the whole time and you feel like the two of you understand something that nobody else gets. I could just tell her everything about myself. never had anybody like that in my life before. I felt like finally I could truly be myself without being ashamed, without being embarrassed.
Okay, and for number 33, we have the movie American Hustle. This movie is, I like the performances in this movie. But overall, while it has grown on me a little bit, which is why it's higher at this point, it is a little boring at points. As I said, I've grown to like it a little more. I need to watch it. I probably need to watch it again. I can fully grasp what I need. But it was just a little boring. Christian Bale does a good job. This is the first time I've seen the guy who plays Rocket, Bradley Cooper, in live action, which that is off-putting so many ways. That is so off-putting. And it's just, yeah, like it's very off-putting to see Bradley Cooper on all that. I'm trying to think of who the other actress was. Give me a second while I go look at my little list real quickly. Okay, so I'm going to keep talking while I look for this. I really enjoyed this movie. Was a little boring, but okay, Amy Adams, that's what it was. Okay, I'm sorry. Amy Adams does good. I've noticed Amy Adams, you'll see another movie on this list. He's in a good amount, at least more than one movie with Amy Adams. You'll see like movies like The Fighter, and I think there's might be one more movie, but besides that, I don't know. Good acting and all that, but it is just a little boring, so that's why it is this low on the list. And now we shall continue our ranking. That is number 33, and let's move on to number 32.
I can't control my heart. I mean, I wouldn't want to, even if I could.
Sarah?
Yeah?
Can I call you right back?
Yeah.
And for number 32, we have the movie Laurel Canyon. And this is an enjoyable movie, but man, is it messed up in so many levels. Dear Lord. So while this movie is higher than like movies like American Hustle and the Big Short and all that stuff, and like certain movies on it before this that are more entertaining, that are more like I don't know. This movie is better than those movies. Laurel Canyon is very messed up, and I actually think I'd rather you not see it because of how messed up a little bit some parts of it is. So I'm going to spoil this right now. It is very messed up. So we start with a husband and wife, right? Christian Bale and a different woman. The wife ends up cheating on the husband with his own mom and his mom's boyfriend. What? What? That is so messed up on so many levels. And you're like, oh, poor Christian Bale. And for the most part, Christian Bale character, yeah, you can say poor, but he also almost cheats as well with one of his co-workers. He almost does. He kisses her, but they don't go any farther, which is good, you know. But, you know, I don't like cheating in general. I'm a loyalty man, all right? But, yeah. It was an entertaining movie, but very messed up on very many levels, so that is why it is in this position. So, now that we're done with number 32, let's move on to rank 31.
Bucko. What a pair we two could have made.
And for number 31, we have the movie Treasure Island. And to be honest, this movie is way less entertaining than I thought it was going to be. This is another child Christian. This is the first on the list of baby Christian Bale. Baby Christian Bale. Oh, look at your baby. Yeah, this movie it's fine. It's maybe it should have been lower, but I don't know, somehow in my head it still hits there, because there were some entertaining moments. I like the pirates, and all that stuff. Cringe. But yeah, it's definitely an old movie. Yeah, so it was okay. That's it. It's one of another young Christian Bale movies. It is the lowest of those. And yeah, that is my review of that movie. I don't have much to say about it. So, now that we're done, Treasure Island is number 31, and we'll move on to number 30. And after those 5, we enter question number 3. Question number 3. Welcome back to the Christian Bale quiz. Welcome to question number 3. And for question number 3, we have the question: how many kids does Christian Bale have? Does he have A, 6, B, 2, C, 1, or D, he doesn't have any? I'll give you a little bit of time. This one comes with a fun fact too after I reveal the answer. Do 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 do. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And time's up, and I hope you guessed the answer right. If you guessed B, you're correct. He has 2 children. And fun fact, the names of those children are Emmeline and Joseph. Emmeline being the older one and Joseph being younger. And fun fact, they were both in the 2022 movie Thor: Love and Thunder as little extras. So, you know, the more you know. If you got it right, good on you. If you got it wrong, the more you know. You know, learning about Christian Bale is a good thing. You know, if you don't know any of these, you know, now you know. I'm here to inform, you know. So, all right, let's move on to the next batch of reviews, and I hope you enjoy those.
Did you learn your lines? Because that would always be a nightmare. I slept them the night before. Just the night before?
Yeah.
And you can look at them and they're there?
Yeah, I've read them a few times.
How are you going to cope with this stardom that's going to start on Monday? You can almost see it coming as a wall, can't you? Being able to walk down the streets and your mate suddenly seeing all your hard work.
I don't know, I mean, it's going to be funny when I actually go to the cinema with all my mates back in Bournemouth and when they all see it. But, I mean, everyone knows about it already. All my mates all know about it, and down in Bournemouth, most of the people know about it already. And I mean, they treat me exactly the same still.
What about coping with this stardom? What about, are you an outgoing person?
Well, I mean, no, I'm not used to doing all of this normally, but I mean, it won't really change that much for me. I mean, yeah, outside of home, it's going to change.
Right.
But I mean, still back in Bournemouth, I'm still the same person, and I think everyone thinks of me the same.
Had you ever been to China before?
No.
No. What do you think?
I mean, it was interesting to go there, but I think if I actually lived there, I'd get really bored. It's just really dull everywhere.
What about meeting the Queen on Monday? What do you reckon? Excited, or is it all a little bit passé now? You don't really care anymore because you met so many famous people.
No, I mean, it's not like that. I'm not actually nervous about it at all, though.
Yeah.
Maybe on the actual night I might get a bit nervous, but...
Well, I hope it all goes very well. The best of luck.
Open the gates and seize the day. Don't be afraid and don't delay. Nothing can break us, no one can make us give our rights away. Arise and seize the day.
And from there, for number 30, we have the last movie I watched on this list, Newsies. And you're like, why did you watch that one last? No idea. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really meant to way earlier, but I didn't get around to it until the very end. This movie. So there's a simple thing with the concept of Newsies. Broadway musical better. Anyways, I'm sorry, the Broadway musical superior. All right. You can't top that. I don't know, man. This movie doesn't top it, man. It's an okay movie. From here on, they're mostly decent movies to me, and maybe that's because I'm not that much of a critic, even though I'll look at a camera angle or a color palette and start but entering the third dimension. But but yeah, this one's definitely not as good. Christian Bale does a good job as the main character. I like the New York accent he puts on, and I like the New York accents in general. I'm not a big... So the main reason is this low is because I'm not a big fan of musicals. I'm not gonna lie to you. Someone guess... I love Tick, Tick, Boom, okay? Tick, Tick, Boom is a good musical movie. Andrew Garfield, yes, let's go. One of his best movies. But, but I'm not that into musicals. Unlike some of my friends, where they're musical... Yeah. Yeah, so not as good as the Broadway musical, but a decent movie anyways. So with that is the reason why it is at number 30, and we'll move to number 29. And for number 29, we have the movie that is an absolute tragedy. Not the biggest tragedy on this entire list. And by the way, when I say tragedy, I don't mean that in a bad way. I just want to point that out real quickly. I don't mean that in a bad way. The movie is called Flowers of War. And oh my goodness, tragedy. It is about this American man who goes into a place. Is it China? Japan? I don't know. I don't know. I think the Japanese are kind of the bad ones here. I don't know. But there's like I'd rather you skip this because of how tragic and yeah it is. You know what I mean? It's a good film and it's a sad film. And our main character goes into the church, right? And he gets stuck there. He has to look after a bunch of little girls and then also a group of prostitute girls eventually. Prostitute. That's how you know this film is dark. But but yeah. So this movie's tragic. So there is a good amount of little church girls that get killed. Because two of the prostitute girls are not the brightest of the bunch, but hey, the main one is pretty nice and falls in love with Christian Bale's character, it's true love, and unlike most of the love prostitutes get. Weird career, but I don't know. I'm not even gonna talk about it. Don't do it if you're forced to. I wish you didn't have to do it. Didn't have to do it if you're forced into that position. Which in this movie they were forced into that position. So sadness. But yeah, so there's and two of the girls leave the church even though it's not safe, and they ends up getting shot, and the other one gets kidnapped by some of the Japanese soldiers, gets raped, and then gets shot. And I'm like. I was like, oh my God. And I was not okay, all right? I didn't cry, but I was like, bro, that's dark. That's so dark. And then even then, the prostitutes, right? So, the church girls have been annoyed with the prostitute girls, right? I don't want you to watch this, unless you really want to get the Christian Bale, every single movie kind of thing. This movie's a tragedy. The prostitute girls and the church girls, they didn't really get along. The church girls were like, these women are jerks and all that stuff, but the prostitutes end up sacrificing their lives for them, and you'll find out the reason for that, and it's really sad, because that when they went to that thing that they were going to get raped multiple times and then probably die. So, sadness. It's a tragedy. It's not the biggest tragedy, in the way it portrays itself, but it is the most tragic and dark of the films in here. So yeah, that is the reason that Flowers of War is number 29. And now from there, we'll move on to number 28.
Rain and fire across the ocean. Another man, been struck again. Rain and fire across the ocean. Another man, been struck again.
Boy! Halt!
Across the ocean, they had shackles on their legs. Across the ocean, they had shackles on their legs. Don't know where they're.
And from there, we move on to number 28, a movie called Public Enemies. And, this is a weird one, because obviously we're on a Christian Bale journey, and it is going to be shocking to say. And I need you to brace yourself, okay? I need you to brace yourself. Calm down. Calm down. My least favorite part of this movie was Christian Bale. Calm down. Calm yourself. Yeah, I know you came for this video as a major Christian Bale fan, and my least favorite movie is Christian Bale. I'm sorry. Okay? I'm sorry. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot. No, hey, put the gun down. 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 I'm sorry. I ran that bit a little too far. But yeah, for some reason, my least favorite part of this movie is Christian Bale. He gives, maybe it's just the way he's supposed to portray his character, but he gave a very empty portrayal. Yeah, but other than that, it's a pretty decent movie. I like Johnny Depp in this movie. Johnny Depp is pretty good in this film. I like the relationship he builds with this girl. Johnny Depp plays this criminal, and Christian Bale plays the character who hunts down them. And yeah, it's so weird that my least favorite part is my favorite actor. It's so weird. So, I said put the gun down. I said put the gun down. I know. It's weird. Please. I'm sorry if you're cringing at my jokes. But yeah, for some reason, my least favorite part of it was Christian Bale. So yeah, it was a pretty decent movie, and that is why but it has some of its flaws and all that stuff, but overall it's a decent film, and that is why it's at number 28, and now we shall move on to number 27.
My host, Pistol! You must come to my master, and you, hostess. He's very sick and would to bed. Good Bardolph, put thy face between his sheets and do the office of a warming pan.
Away, you rogue.
Faith, he's very ill.
And for number 27, we have the film Henry the Fifth? I think it's fifth. It's the V. Tell me if I'm wrong. Editor me will tell me if I'm wrong. So, but yeah, Henry the Fifth. This is, can you tell it's a Shakespeare film? See, unlike a different film that I could not get like through 10 minutes of the film, I actually found with this film. It's actually a pretty decent film, you know? This is the first and maybe only film. It's first of the, I would like to say, 2 films in this, bunch where Christian Bale plays a background character, and like is one of the 2 or 3 that he's barely in, and one of them is you can say that wasn't barely, but he was a background character. This was once again baby Christian Bale. Oh, look at that baby Christian Bale, but look at that baby Christian Bale. And he has a few lines in the beginning, and then I don't know where he went. He was in a little bit of a fight scene at the end, and he got carried. The main character picked him up and walked with him in a bit. He was barely in it. Like you could forget that Christian Bale was in this movie. Which, I'm pretty sure this film came after a certain other film. So it's just a little confusing why that would be. I don't know. Little did they know that kid, that little small child, would become one of the biggest actors in the movie business. Wasted opportunity. You could brag to all your director friends like, yeah, I had him in my movie. Yeah. Like, and you could flex it. It's like, so you could flex it, right? Like, Steven Spielberg could flex it, right? He's like, yeah, I had him as my, for his big screen debut, I had him as my main character. I knew the kid's potential. I knew his potential. All right. I knew the man's potential. But this, yeah, like, they put him as a background character, which is so insulting. But besides that, it actually is a decent film. There's a little bit weird things about it. and this is my only complaint, and it is that the romance was very rushed. Very rushed. There was one scene in the beginning where you saw the girl, and then at the end, the main character was marrying that girl. That's just, that's a choice. I get it's the old and medieval ages where a man can just say, haha, she pretty, marry. But, weird day and age. Weird age, you know. But, it's just, from a film perspective, I get it wasn't the focus, but, like, you could at least, if you're gonna develop a romance, give it a little time. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was an okay to decent film, and that is why it is at number 27. And now we shall move on to number 26, which is a surprising one to me. And that is where we move on to the number 26 on this list. And that is one that I am thoroughly surprised because I was looking at the Rotten Tomatoes and it was very low. So I wasn't expecting it to enjoy this much. The movie is called Exodus, Gods and Kings. I was fully expecting not to like this because the track record of like modern, like, you know, secular movie makers tend to botch Bible stories. But this one, well, yes, is it accurate? Oh, heck no. But it is an enjoyable film. I cannot lie to you. You know? It is a decent film. So what's the most off-putting about this is that, okay, so Christian Bale is playing Moses, right? We all know Moses wasn't white, right? It's a weird thing. Here's a random thing that I thought of when I was, so I don't understand why white people think they're superior. Because Jesus, you know, the person, if you're a Christian and you think and back then you thought white people were superior kind of thing, you're an idiot. Because Jesus, the person you worship, like part of the people you worship, right? Like as Christians, we worship, you know, God, and obviously Jesus is our Savior, right? Jesus wasn't white. If you thought he was white, I'm sorry. You're wrong. He wasn't white. He was Middle Eastern. Sir. So if you Christian and you white back then and you thought white people were superior, you're an idiot. Anyways, moving back to the movie. I'm sorry. Short comment on idiots. Anyways, it was an oddly enjoyable film. I was not expecting to enjoy it as much as I did. The actors were weird choices, and yeah, like Christian Bale was a weird choice to play Moses. The person who played, I think, Ramses was kind of a weird choice, but at least they had the makeup to back it up. But they didn't for Christian Bale. He was still a white man. But he was still a white man. Which that's probably how you differentiate, because Moses is technically adopted. But you're adopted, kid. But yeah, it was a decent film. And that's why it hits its position of number 26. And so now we will move on to number 25. 25. And it's time for question number 4. Question number of the Christian Bale quiz. Yeah! And for question number 4, we have a little fun fact, a little bit of dark history with Christian Bale here. So, a video popped online of an audio recording of Christian Bale cursing out somebody. So he has an audio recording on the internet of him cursing out a guy while he was working on a film he was acting in. What film was he working on that he ended up cursing out a guy for? Was it A, Terminator Salvation, one that I haven't seen. B, The Fighter. C, Ford versus Ferrari. Or is it D, The Dark Knight Rises? I'll give you a little bit. You can probably guess which one based on I don't know. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And time's up. I hope you guessed the right answer. If you guessed A, Terminator Salvation, you are correct. An audio recording popped up of him cursing out a guy because he was distracting him. Who was in the wrong? Probably Bale, if we're gonna be honest. So yeah, and if you got it wrong, that's fine. That's fine. I don't blame you. I didn't know which film it was a part of either until I looked it up. So hey, and if you got it wrong, the more you know. If you got it right, you a Christian Bale aficionado. So now we're gonna move on to the next 5 movies. Hope you enjoy those.
Describe Moses, from what I understand, as barbaric and a little bit schizophrenic.
Here we go. Right. Okay, so these are things that do not happen in the film. All right?
Okay.
But let me explain both of those pieces. If you had a gentleman, I was trying to think about how would Moses be received today. All right? And if you had a gentleman who was Moses was meant to have been the only man who ever actually was in the presence and spoke with God and heard him, you know? And if he arrived today, are you likely to say he's a prophet and I'm going to follow him? I think nowadays people would be far more skeptical and they would probably say something else.
I also noticed in the film, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it was just makeup, but I watched Rescue Dawn a few nights ago and you lost, that was amazing obviously.
Oh, thank you.
You lost so much weight. Did you lose weight when you went out in the desert for this film? You looked skinnier.
Here's the thing, I was losing weight. And we managed to capture it at the right moments where he should be. But here was Ridley's dilemma. We had been talking on the phone, and between when we first met and then met again, I went away and I shot a film called American Hustle, and I looked like Santa Claus.
Right.
And I put on like 43 pounds, and it was all in my gut. And so when I actually walked into Rid's office, and now talk about a good actor, I could never compete with the acting that Rid managed that day in the office, where he didn't just go, yeah, get a casting director quickly, he's not it. Because his face couldn't help. He looked at my girth, and he looked at the hair, and then he went, very short hair. But I could see he was going,
I know, this role is really cool. I've never seen you in this. I don't think any of us have in this sort of thing. But you turned down roles. You turned down the Steve Jobs thing, or you backed out of it. What was wrong about that role?
It's a wonderful script, wonderful director. Everything seems absolutely fantastic. Sometimes you have to realize that you're not the right piece of the puzzle for a project.
And be confident. And Ben Affleck, Batman?
Good for him. He'll do a wonderful job. We were done. You know, we always said we had a trilogy, and of course you get those sobering moments where you go, well, that was mine, and it was very quick that there was somebody else playing him. But I always said 3. And unless it was Chris going to be directing, then, you know, never again. So I wish him all the best, and he'll do a fantastic job.
In this thing, too, with the kid, the little 10-year-old, going back to him, kids are so entitled these days. When I saw this little kid mouthing off as God, do you have children?
Yeah.
Do you have children?
3.
Are you guys good? Are you strict with your kids?
Very.
You are?
My kids aren't kids
They don't act
adults.
like that. They are. Okay.
Adults.
Mine run wild. Mine
just
crazy.
gods, little gods everywhere?
Not little gods, no. But I always tell my daughter, question authority, question me, all the time. You know?
Really?
If I don't have a good reason for it, because I said so doesn't fly with me as a dad. I say, if you ever hear me saying because I said so, say, nah, that's not gonna
What about when she's 15?
That's all. You know what? If I don't have the right answer, then she should question me, because I always tell her, your dad's a bit of an idiot, right? And I don't have all the answers, and often the best thing to say is, I don't know.
Pansy? Mrs. Osmond? Mrs. Osmond? Mrs. Osmond! I've been in Paris. I've sold my Bibelots. The result's magnificent, $50,000. Will Mr. Osmond think me rich enough now?
And for number 25, it is the movie called Portrait of a Lady. And this is the second film on this list where Christian Bale is barely in this. But not as much as Henry V. This film is, like, he comes in flashes, right? He's just his character makes sense, and he does well for the short moment, the few scenes he's in. But he is, he's not barely there. But that, we're judging the film, so I feel like I should have made it clear. We're not judging Christian Bale's performance. Like, we're not ranking things based on his performance. While his performance, obviously, we're judging the entire film as a whole. So, this movie was good, but Christian Bale did trash. So, it's that kind of thing. Public Enemies, by the way, is like a good example of that. Well, Christian Bale didn't do a bad job. He doesn't do a bad job. That's not in his vocabulary, all right? But it's still ranked higher than a bunch of movies. But, so this was a weird one. Hold on, where am I at? Oh, yeah, Portrait of a Lady. I'm sorry, I forgot which one I was on. I forgot which one I was on for a second. But, so this movie is interesting. There's things I don't like about it, but that doesn't deteriorate from what they were going for. And this is based on novels, so it's kind of the novel's fault for that. My main complaint is kind of an actor choice. It is the person who's playing the lover. I feel like it's based on, like, a girl who at first refuses to fall in love, right? She just can't find the man she loves, and I no joke thought this was going to be a gay plot, and I was actually 100% down for it. But I was like, yes, get your colors, queen. But if a family member watches that and like, but surprise. I was fully ready for that, but she's like, I just can't find a man to love, And then, and I was like, okay, that's a good plot line, and maybe she'll find a man it'd be like Pride and Prejudice cranked up a dial, I like Pride and Prejudice, by the way. And I am a male, so I know they're allowed to. It's a joke. It's a joke, okay? This movie, it's like Pride and Prejudice cranked up a dial, and I thought that was the way it was going to go, right? And then there's this couple, right? And this girl, in order to marry into the family, so the person she falls in love with has been manipulated her in this entire time, and manipulated her into falling in love with her, so she could, I don't know what the reasons were. I'm not gonna lie to you. What were the reasons? I don't know. But, she felt defeated at the end, so. sadness. He's like, never fall in love again. But yeah, it was a decent movie. Yeah. And that is why that it hit that position. Oh, I actually want to talk about one more thing. There was an insane camera movement at a certain point whenever the male lover is like, I love you. So, I love you. And then the camera was like, no. And I was like, oh. That's how you know. So you know I'm a film critic. So that is why this film hits number 25. And now we'll move on to number 24. Moving 25. You know what's funny in 24? 25. 24, move on 24.
Suppose I asked you to marry me, what would you say?
Are you asking me? Where would we live?
Here? England? If you wish, perhaps that would be best. You could forget your life in this place.
So for number 24, we have the film The New World. And when I went into this movie, I was not expecting this to be basically a non-Disney Pocahontas live-action movie. Was not expecting that. And Christian Bale's in both. So, weird, but okay. Played two different characters. I don't even think Thomas was in the live-action version. But, I was not expecting that. And this was another movie where he was barely in. This is a 2 hour and 51 minute movie. The longest here on this list, or at least near there. Or at least one of them. And he is only in the last 51 minutes. Which is shocking. So we go 2 hours without seeing Christian Bale. And all we see is Colin Farrell, you know, the Penguin, or the guy from After Yang. I forgot to review that film. Decent film. Colin Farrell and the Pocahontas actress, which, by the way, Pocahontas actress. Good actress. Good actress. That's good. She has some talent. I liked her. She did a good job. So yeah, and there wasn't as much conflict. There wasn't like a big fight, big fight, big fight. But it was along the lines. It was like it combines the first Pocahontas and the second Pocahontas. Even though I've never fully seen the second Pocahontas, I know they go to England, so maybe they fall in love with the Pocahontas falls in love with the John Radcliffe. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, so that's why this is why this film hits number 24, and now we shall move on to number 23. What that one is kind of funny.
It's gonna be great, John. I'm gonna get a pile of gold, build me a big house, and if any Indian tries to stop me, I'll blast him.
Don't you love it when the two films right next to each other are the same thing? For number 23, we have the movie Pocahontas. We had the live action one, and now we have the animated one. The animated one is better because it is a classic. There are flaws with the film. I feel like, so from the art style, right? I don't know why the characters feel inconsistent from an art style. Not all of them feel like they're in the exact same art style. You know what I mean? Like, some of them look like they were drawn with, like, thick, like, sorry. That was an accident. I was there. But, with a thicker, pencil line. It just felt weird. Yeah. Also, Pocahontas came off weird for me. But I liked Pocahontas. But yeah. Not sure if this movie has aged the best, but I don't know. I'm taking it as a film, so I'm not taking it as, oh, is this racist? I don't think it actually was. I don't think it actually is. I mean, I feel like I'd be hearing about it still. I think I'd be hearing about it still if it was racist. Or my mom would be like, don't watch that. You know. But yeah. And that is why this film, while it's not amazing, it still holds number 23. And now we shall move on to number 22. So now we move on to the movie, to number 22. The movie called Hostiles, which I just realized that there's 3 films about Native Americans right next to each other. That just hit me. That literally just hit me. Huh. Interesting. This movie, a lot of people die in this movie. Also, did you know Jonathan Majors was in this movie? Did you know Timothy Chalamet was in this movie? I didn't. All I knew was Christian Bale, and that he had a banging mustache. But I'm sorry, but that mustache is legendary, bro. It's not the best. I love Christian Bale's facial hair, so just see that. Just to see that is just some good mustache. Might be better than Pedro Pascal's. Straight man, by the way. Straight white boy. But yeah, this is a pretty decent film. It is very tragic because there's a lot of death in this film. It ends well, and obviously Christian Bale survives, but it's kind of a tragedy. I cannot lie to you. It's kind of tragic. So yeah, there's not much to talk about, if I'm being honest with you, besides the fact that there was 2 actors that I did not know. I love Jonathan Majors. I don't care about Timothy Chalamet. Hey, put the gun down. Put the gun down. Put the gun down. I don't care about Timothy Chalamet. Okay? I've seen a couple films with him. He's a decent actor, but I don't see it. Okay? I don't see it, bro. He ain't no Christian Bale. He ain't no Robert Pattinson. He ain't no Jonathan Majors. Come on, people. He ain't no Isabelle Marcet. Come on, people. I don't see it. I don't see it, man. So yeah, anyways, this is a tragic movie, but it is a pretty decent movie on Netflix. So I do recommend it. It is a Western, too. That won't be the last one that we see here. But yeah, it's a pretty decent film, and that's why Hostiles is at number 22. And now we will move on to number 21.
Don't do it, Russell! Russell! Drop your weapon! Russell! Drop it! Walk away! it, Russell! Drop it! Russ! Just listen to me. Listen to me, Russell. Russell! Let me make this right. For God's sake.
And for number 21, we have the movie called Out of the Furnace. And once again, this movie is tragic. It's a tragic story. And as you could even see from that scene, you could tell the pain and how much he wanted to kill that man. And trust me when I say that that man, played by Woody Harrelson, deserved it so much. He freaking deserved it. Even though Christian Bale should have been the bigger man and not killed him. But it is a pretty good film. The brother is an idiot, but I love the dynamic between Christian Bale's character and his brother. That was a good dynamic. I like that. This movie's tragic. Christian Bale and Zoe Saldana. I did not know Zoe Saldana was in this movie. And she was only there for a short amount of time. And she played Christian Bale's girlfriend. And because he got arrested on accident, he lost her. And she got pregnant with another man's child. They ain't loyal. I'm joking. But, yeah, it's just, he lost everything. Lost his dad, lost his brother, lost his girlfriend. Pushed him to the edge. Pushed him out of the furnace. Pushed him into the furnace. Ha ha, joking. Jokes. Cringe. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to anyone watching this. If you are cringing at my things. But that is the reason, though, that this film, Out of the Furnace, is at number 21. And now, we enter number 20. Now it's time for for question number 5 of the Christian Bale quiz. And for question number 5, we have this. So, in 1984, he made his stage debut in the West play called The Nerd. And he was playing... When he was acting, and he was also acting alongside another famous actor. But who was that famous actor? Was it A, Hugh Jackman, B, Natalie Portman, C, Robert Pattinson, or D, Rowan Atkinson? I'll give you a little bit of time. Do 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 do. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Time's up, everybody. I hope you guessed right. If you guessed right, you can do a little mark. But the right answer is D, Rowan Atkinson, aka Mr. Bean. Yes. He acted alongside him in his stage debut. And that is very interesting. Out of all the actors, you know. Out of all the other famous actors, he made his stage debut with him. It's very interesting. You can put that on your resume. I worked alongside Mr. Bean. So yeah, let's move on to the next 5 reviews. And I hope you enjoy those.
I'm working for a living.
Working for a living? I gave my life for this country. And what's it done for me? Huh? What's it done for me?
The script was one that just, I never sort of articulate it, but you just get a gut feeling about a script, and if it just sticks with you for a while after. That's really the test for me, is how do I keep thinking about it, and for how long do I keep thinking about it. And but then it just wasn't possible to get it together because I was in the middle of making a film, and you know, it just wasn't going to happen. And then it was just kind of, it was actually quite impulsive. I called up Scott just to be supportive because I assumed he'd moved on and he would have cast somebody else and he'd be making the film. And I just want to be supportive and say good luck with it. And called him up and said, who are you making it with? And he said, no, I told you, you're the only guy I'd make it with. And so I said, oh wow, all right, well I've got 3 months free. Can we get it together? And he did. He got it together really quickly. We shot it out. I did like 27 days on this, and it's fantastic.
What did your friend Trey do?
Nothing. He tried to ignore the guy, but the bastard just wouldn't let up.
No 40s, no chronic, no Indo. Aight? Hey, dog, is you deaf? Holla back!
What an asshole.
You got that, Tupac?
You serious, my brother?
And for number 20, as you can tell, this movie is... for number 20, we have Shaft. And this movie is a lot of fun. Does it have much substance to it? No. Not at all. It's very simple, just, shooty, detective story with not much depth to it. It's just a fun Samuel L. Jackson adventure where Christian Bale plays a racist guy. As you can tell from the clip that I memed. I made that meme myself, boys. Mm-hmm. Are you serious, my brother? But seriously, though, Christian Bale played a racist character, and I'm just... fun. You could tell it was slightly unnatural, the way he was talking. You can at least tell it was a little bit natural because of how good of an actor he is, but you can tell it was a little unnatural, so, It sounds like the Friends. I haven't even seen Friends, and I know that. But yeah, it's a very fun action film. But if you're looking for substance, for depth, you're not gonna find it here. You're not gonna find it with Shaft. So, yeah. A decent film. I like Samuel L. Jackson, so that's probably why it's up here. But yeah, that's why Shaft is at number 20. And now we will go to the next film, which will be number 19.
Hi, Nicole. Let me get a couple of singles too, please.
Sorry, you buy a whole pack.
Be cool, dude. If I buy a whole pack, I'm gonna want to smoke it. I just want a couple of smokes with my beer.
See, they give me a $1,500 ticket. No more.
괜찮아. 고마워. Asshole.
And for our next film, we enter the movie that I literally forgot the title of 2 seconds after I pressed record. Harsh Times. And, once again, this movie is a tragedy. But it also is a lot of fun. As you can tell from the little thing, I had to try to find clips that had like the least amount of cuss words, because I like, keeping my things clean and all that stuff. Even though I try to keep things clean. Good Christian boy. I say that, but one of my favorite characters in Marvel is Gore the God Butcher. We don't talk about that, all right? But yes, this movie is very it's very fun. It's also a tragic. Christian Bale plays this wacky, like, drug addict guy who's trying to become a cop, but he's also a little bit of criminal. He's also a little sexist. But, we carry it through it, And it's just, he's a little weird, and I don't know. He ends up not, he ends up, it's kind of a messed up film. The color palette's kind of interesting throughout the film. That's how you know I'm a cinephile. But, a very normie cinephile. Because I'm not gonna judge a whole film based on, oh my god, the camera angle, it was so basic. The camera lens. My film's going to be played on a theater screen. Even though theater screen is way better. Theater screens are so superior. But so Harsh Times is a tragic film, but also a very fun film. Terry Crews is in this film. That was interesting. But yeah. So, that is why, it's very fun, very tragic. Not much wrong with it. Besides, I don't really like the sexism in it. But, besides that, it was a pretty good film. Christian Bale did a good job. Most of them did a good job. Terry Crews was kind of silly, kind of wacky. But he was still fun. So, that is why it hits number 19. And I just realized how high this next movie is that I remember it was towards the bottom for a long time. And then the movie started just slipping in there. So, that is why this movie is at number 19. And we move on to number 18 now.
You're the solution to my problem.
I'm CEO of a large company. I have been Secretary of Defense. I have been Chief of Staff. The vice presidency is mostly a symbolic job.
Right. I can see how that wouldn't be enticing to you.
However, the vice presidency is also defined by the president. And if we were to come to a different understanding.
Go on. I'm listening.
I sense that you're a kinetic leader. You make decisions based on instinct.
I am. People always said that.
Yeah. Very different. Very different from your father in that regard. Now, maybe I can handle some of the more mundane jobs, overseeing bureaucracy, managing military, energy, foreign policy.
That sounds good.
And for number 18, we have the movie Vice. And this is another movie by the same director who made The Big Short. And unlike the other movies, right? There was a whole three that were ran extra. This movie is kind of boring. But so this movie was slightly boring. But also, I loved Christian Bale's performance. And it did keep your attention the entire time. So this movie is about Vice President Dick Cheney, who we learn through this movie is a little bit more he's very smart, very calculated. He starts with this whole presidency because, he has to get a job so he can support his wife, support and love his wife. This is the other film that Amy Adams is in. Oh, that's why I was like, hey, Christian Bale and Amy Adams work together a lot, and they do. Which is insane to me. And they play lovers a lot. Christian Bale is married to someone else. So, it's just they play lovers a lot. They're probably just good friends, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But yeah. This is a pretty entertaining film. Once again, Adam McKay. He does a good job. He knows how to give you a very either a blank or a very boring premise and make it very interesting. And unlike The Big Short, where it was just kind of boring, this movie did very well in that category. So yeah, that is why this film is at number 18, and now we will move on to number 17.
Learned a new word today. Atom bomb. Was like a white light in the sky. Like God taking a photograph.
And for number 17, we have the film Empire of the Sun, Christian Bale's big screen debut, which is insane, honestly. Out of all the movies to make his big screen debut, it was like Steven Spielberg saw him out of the group of kids and was like, "Come here, my child. I will make you into a great actor." Little did he know. Little did he know. But yeah, overall, for a big screen debut, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good film. But it does suffer from something. Like, it's very enjoyable, and overall, it keeps its ranking and it holds itself pretty well. But my problem with it, and it's my main complaint about this movie, is that this movie has a very, it suffers from something I'd like to call old movie syndrome. And that is where they have a very interesting premise, right? And the build-up is strong. But the second they build up and they go into the actual thing, the plot becomes static. For a majority of this movie, nothing really is happening. Like, there's some shenanigans, shenanigans ensue. But is there a goal? Not really. It's more just, oh, things happen. Oh ho ho. You know? It's just like that. That's the main problem. It suffers from what old movies suffer from on a normal basis. So it makes sense why this thing would, come off as a little weird in that sense. But overall, it's a good film for Christian Bale's first big movie. It was a pretty good performance. He did a pretty good job, which I am glad that he did. So yeah, that's my review of Empire of the Sun, and that is why it has entered the position of number 17, and we shall move on to number 16. Let's go.
Well, you're the grand wild, have you noticed? When you're walking, all the ferry boys are very nervous. Well, my starship doesn't want man, and neither does his wife. I'm glad I caught you on my view screen, sailor, you're...
And for number 16, we have a movie called Velvet Goldmine. And this movie is, so I don't mind this kind of thing. So, it's like someone like, proceed with caution. This is a very gay movie. Talks about this movie basically focuses on the glam rock age. Glam rock being, rockers, punk rockers dressed very femininely, like rocker men dressing very femininely, and like, it's very gay. And there's a lot of sex scenes in it, like nude things, and I was like, I'm glad Christian Bale wasn't a part of that, even though he's there, right? But like, he's only there in like flashes. He's not that in this movie much. It's mostly up to Ewan McGregor and whoever played that other character. And talks about those glam rockers' lives. The music was really good, though. I liked the music. But but yeah, it was very much a iffy, like a gay movie, and I don't have the biggest problem with that. I'm a straight male, a straight Christian boy, white boy, but I don't mind. So I'm gonna take it as a film and not put my, like, I'll comment on it like based with my religious beliefs, but I'm not gonna say, oh, I hate this film because of that, because it's not inherently an actual problem. So, you know, I don't know why I'm talking like this. It's fine. It's fine. That's why this movie is at number 16, and now we shall move on to number 15. And now it's time for number 6 of the Christian Bale quiz. Yeah. So, for number 6, Christian Bale is an animal lover. He loves animals. But how many pets does he have? Does he have 6? Does he have 2? Does he have 1? Or does he have 5? I'll give you a little bit of time. I almost made animal noises, but that make this video more cringe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And time's up. I hope you guessed the right answer. I almost forgot what the actual answer was, but luckily there's a fun fact after this. I hope you guessed D, number at 5. He has, the correct answer is 5 pets. Fun fact, he has 2 dogs and 3 cats. And yes, he has 5 pets. I hope you got that right. You can mark a little point on your little fake little sheet if you're doing that. And let us move on to the next set of reviews, and I'll be back with another question later.
I don't find it difficult to not eat, so, you know, I just ate just soup. And well, we did actually, I started off and I was going running a lot, and then my mum came to stay with me for one night in the apartment that I had in London, and I was getting up at like 6 in the morning going running, and she was like, Christian, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? I said, well, you know, I've got to lose weight for it. And she said, well, hold it, but you're doing a film about sex, drugs and rock and roll. Why don't you just do it the way that they did it? You know, they weren't out running, they just weren't out eating. They didn't eat, but they drank a hell of a lot and lived very unhealthily. So I went, yes, cheers, mum, all right, and took that to heart, and it works.
I'm pressing on. I keep pressing on. Yes, I'm pressing on to the higher calling of my Lord.
And for number 15, we have the movie I'm Not There. And this film was very interesting to me. This might be one of the best. So Christian Bale has such an extra part in this, and you can tell by the clip. Very different, very strange. A good film though. I like the way it presented itself. The movie's called I'm Not There because it showcases a group of individuals who are just not quite there. They don't quite understand things well. So yeah. This might be one of Cate Blanchett's best performances. I was amazed by the way she was playing this character. She was playing a male too, which, you know, she embodied that, and you could tell, like you could barely tell that it was a female playing him, which is a good thing, and I liked that. Yeah, like they playing characters that weren't entirely there. There is a complaint here, and there's like some characters who I would like to say is just like, why did you include them, kind of thing. Like, I'm like, why did you include this little kid? Was there really a point in including Christian Bale's character? Was there really a point? Like the only one that I was like, yeah, the only two that I was like definitely yes was Kate Blanchett's and Heath Ledger's character. Heath Ledger was in this movie, you know, rest in peace. He played still the best Joker. I did not expect to see him in this movie. I was like, wait, hold on, he's in this movie? He does a good job in this film. So yeah, that was my review of I'm Not There, and that is why it's number 15. And now we'll move on to number 14. And for number 14, we have a movie called Swing Kids. And this movie is a lot of fun, but it also is kind of sad. It's just like as the fall of the friendships. It's kind of sad, but it's a pretty good movie. I quite enjoy it. It talks about a bunch of, like, a group of kids and people called Swing Kids who love dancing, like, wildly and all that stuff. And they live in Germany, right? And they're in the time of the Nazis. And the Nazis don't like those, like, crazy dances. Like, this is not German. This is not German. How dare you? Kind of thing. It's dumb. A dumb thing that if it wasn't true, I'd be like, this is a stupid concept. He's trying to stop my rhythm. But they do handle it very well, and I think it's just quite an interesting movie. I quite like it. So yeah, that's probably why I would rank this movie at number 14. I don't have much else to say. Christian Bale does a good job. He does a good job because he falls the most. But, he gets up at the end, so. Sorry, I was saying, no. Give me a second. The dancing's really good. I love the dancing scenes, even though we get those very sparingly. But, it's like, I'm not getting, like, overfed, I guess you could say. That. I'm just not, I'm not overdosing on, the dancing scenes. But yeah, still, that is the reason why I would put Swing Kids at number 14. And let's move on to number 13.
You ever been to Dodge City?
No.
Stop talking to him. The way you shuffling those cards, I took you for a pro.
I practice a lot.
I can tell.
And for number 13, we have the movie 3:10 to Yuma. A Western film. This is the second Western film on here, and I'm not sure if there's another one. This one stars, obviously, Christian Bale. Gasp! Christian Bale. Christian Bale's in this movie? Can you believe it? And Russell Crowe. And both of them do a really good job in this movie. It's very entertaining. Once again, a lot of death. It's all about Westerns, savagery, The savages. The savages. Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. It's pretty sad in the end. But, there's a little, good in the end, There's some story arcs. As you might expect in a movie, If it doesn't have a story arc, kind of sad. I understand if some movies are just like, haha, mine go burr, kind of thing, and just like, okay, we're not trying to give you anything special, anything like profound. You know, there was a message in here, and I liked it. From here on, I basically liked all the films here. Yeah, so just we've gotten to the praise stage, and this is why. So the performances, the Western elements. This is the reason why this movie is this high up, and that is why it is in the 13th position. And now we shall move on to number 12.
He wants us to help his wife and his family escape. We have to help them. And after that, he'll be gone and we'll never see him again.
And for number 12, we have the movie The Promise. And this movie's pretty sad, but also very fun. Very interesting. I love Oscar Isaac in this. Call me the normie fan here, but I was like, it's Stephen Grant. It's Stephen Grant. It's Mark Spector. It's Jake Lockley. Sorry. It's yeah. Oscar Isaac's in this, obviously Christian Bale. Yes. But there's a romance. Christian Bale doesn't play the main character. Oscar Isaac does, and it's just kind of tragic, honestly. Kind of a tragic film, kind of a tragic journey. We're talking about something that I forgot the name of, but I know it's a sad event that I think was mentioned in Moon Knight. So, you know, Armenian genocide. Something like that. Yeah, so this is a pretty decent film. It's a pretty good romance. Christian Bale does a pretty good job in this movie. He doesn't do as much in this film as, you see in other films. But for this film on its own, it works. So yeah, that is mostly why Christian Bale does obviously a good job. You've said that a couple times. Oscar Isaac does a good job. That girl. Yeah. In Marvel, you don't know. So you don't know who they say. It's called normies, people. All my homies. But yeah, it was a decent film. And really. So, that is why that this film is at number 12, and we shall move on to number 11. Yay.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see the light until I was already a man. By then it was nothing to me but blinding.
And we hit we hit one of the most known movies here. We hit number 11, The Dark Knight Rises.
The Dark Knight Rises, Mr. Wayne. The Dark Knight Rises.
Cringe. Anyways, this movie is pretty good. I like all of the Batman films, all of the Dark Knight trilogy, and the Batman's something in the way. Anyways, such cringe, but whatever. Yeah. So I like this film. This is my least favorite of the trilogy, but I think it's kind of close with Batman Begins. Batman Begins is a couple positions above here. Spoiler, but it is kind of close. Those these next few films are just kind of close, kind of neck and neck. This one is like very emotional, very a really good villain. I love Bane, despite the weird voice. Tom Hardy, which you don't realize that's Tom Hardy because he's covering his face. So you're like, wait, that's Tom Hardy? Venom? Venom. No, never mind. I'm not doing that. It's like we know it's Venom. Bane, that dude. What? You know what I mean? So, yeah, this is a pretty decent film. I liked it. Batman was good. I always think Christian Bale looks weird as Batman, even though he is a good Batman. Don't get me wrong. He just looks weird in the costume sometimes. You know what I mean? The costume looks cool. If he just stands still, cool. Second he tries to fight, it's hit and miss. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird. But yeah, so it's a pretty decent movie. It's my least favorite of the trilogy, but it is close with second place. So, yeah. And that is why this movie is at number 11. And we will move on to number 10. And now it's time for number question number 7. And for number 7, we have the question here. Christian Bale has 3 sisters. Which of these is not one of the names of his sisters? Is it A, Aaron, B, Layla, C, Sharon, D, Louise? I'll give you a little time to guess which one it is not. Not a name of one of his sisters. Do 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 do. Boo do 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 do. Do 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 do. We're not gonna mention the allegations. Do 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 of him pushing his own mother and almost getting arrested. We're not gonna mention that. Says that as he mentions it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and time's up. We don't even know if that actually happened, by the way. He's just been accused of that. So, yeah. And I think everything's been repaired since then, so we're not. So, time's up, and now let's see if you got this one correct. If you guessed that one of his sister's names is not Layla, then you are correct. He has a sister named Erin, Sharon, and a stepsister, technically, Louise. And yeah, those are his sister's names. And fun fact, he is the youngest of his siblings. So that's fun. So yeah, I hope you got them correct. If you got them correct, you can add a little point to your little sheet. And we're going to move on to the next 5 reviews. Then we'll go back to for question number 8. There's 9 questions, by the way. So, yeah. I hope you enjoy the next set of reviews.
In Dark Knight Rises, Alfred tells Bruce a fantasy which pertains to Bruce being done with Batman and seeing him happy in Italy in a relationship.
Yes.
At the end of the movie...
Fernie Branca. Right.
Yeah. At the end of the movie, when it seems like it actually happened, was it a dream sequence, or were you really in Italy with Selena? And did Alfred ever come over to the table and join you, or was he just content with you being alive and left?
He was just content with me being alive and left, because that was always the life that he wanted for him. And I find it very interesting, and I think that with most films, I tend to always say it's what the audience thinks it is. My personal opinion is, no, it was not a dream, that was for real. And he was just delighted that finally he had freed himself from the privilege, but ultimately the burden of being Bruce Wayne. Yeah. All right.
Peter, you can rest easy at night now.
Is he still there? Is he still there?
He's still there.
Just kidding.
Peter just booked a trip to Italy, and he's going to start training.
He's still there, and he's eaten lots of mozzarella by this point, and he won't fit back in that suit.
Not in fucking shape. Lisa Whalen.
What did you want it to be?
Hey, as long as Batman was alive, that's all that mattered.
rings, ladies and gentlemen. If there are any ladies or gentlemen here, solid pedal. Who threw that? Is what you came for, is it? So, who wants to volunteer?
We've now entered the top 10. And for number 10, we hit a movie called The Prestige, a magic film. This film is very intriguing. Christopher Nolan made the Dark Knight trilogy. Can't wait for Oppenheimer. It's a good film. Christian Bale does a good job. Hugh Jackman does excellent. Scarlett Johansson, unexpected to be in this movie, but is a welcome addition. This plot is so freaking... It absorbs you into the plot. I love this film. I want to see it again so I can pick up everything, because the twist is just like... It's like... So, like, you're overthinking the plot a lot. So when the twist happens, you're like, oh, I should have thought of that. I should have thought of that. I didn't think it'd be that simple. You know what I mean? It's a subversion method. Like, Hugh Jackman's character is like trying to figure out how Christian Bale did it. He's like, how to do it? How can you do that? He couldn't have done it in this simple way. He couldn't have done that. So I have to find out how he did it. He did it the simple way. Plot twist. Spoilers, but still gotta see the film, because I love the extents that Hugh Jackman's character goes. And this is masterfully crafted by Christopher Nolan. It's a good film, and that is why it is the first movie in the top 10. And you should definitely go see it. And now we're gonna go move on to number 9.
Saw that look in your eye when you were standing over him.
I did what I did because I had to.
Do you think I am stupid? I saw what you did! He was on the lead! I trained that boy! Why did you have to do that?
He had to fail! Why can't you see how much danger he's in?
The pack would have protected him!
Khan will kill him and tear the pack apart!
You are not the only one who cares about the boy.
All you care about is that he passed!
That is because it's my job!
And for number 9, we have the movie Mowgli, The Legend of the Jungle. And I wasn't expecting to like this film as much as I did. I ain't gonna lie to you. Because I was hearing this was like the strange version of the Jungle Book. Like, it's like the New World, where it's a non-Disney live-action adaptation. And you'd think to yourself, maybe it's not as good. Like, yeah, they removed the musical elements, but I liked the vocal performances. Because, Christian Bale was playing Bagheera. We had Andy Serkis as Baloo. We had Benedict Cumberbatch as the villain Shere Khan. We had Cate Blanchett as that snake thing. It was a studded cast, and I liked the person playing Mowgli, and the baby Mowgli, I just want to point out, is adorable. I'm sorry. No, don't pay me. It's so cute. So yeah, I quite enjoyed this film. Is it as good as the original Jungle Book? I think those are like very different like mood films. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I need to be in the mood for both. If I'm not in the mood for like music, I'ma watch the Mowgli movie. But if I'm in the mood for some music, I'ma watch the original Disney film, because they're both good. My only problem with the Mowgli one is they didn't include the big monkey. They didn't include him. I was like, oh man, I liked that. Like, even in the live action Disney one, they had it in huge monkey, and it was like, oh, epic kind of thing. So I was kind of saddened by that. But besides that, I quite enjoyed this film, and it is on par with the regular Jungle Book, or at least the other live action Jungle Book. Depends. It's been a long time since I've seen the original Jungle Book. So that is why Mowgli, The Legend of the Jungle, is at number 9. And we shall now move on to number 8.
Joe!
Daddy! Oh, this is magic!
You are absolutely...
Covered in flour, oh dear. Oh, come in.
No, Joe, not yet. May I tell you something without the others? You're my dear friend. I'm glad you shall be the first to know.
What?
May I present my wife?
Oh! Ew! Dude! Disgusting!
And for number 8, we have a film that I did not expect to like as much as I did, because I feel like it would have been more of a girl film. But I still enjoyed it thoroughly. The movie at number 8 is Little Women. And, oh my goodness, I actually really enjoyed this film. I really did. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was so much fun, so much heart. I loved it. And according to my mom, this one's the better version of the movie. Not the Timothée Chalamet and Florence Pugh, apparently. This one. Apparently, according to her, the Timothée Chalamet and Florence Pugh one is confusing. Like, it's confusing if you haven't seen a Little Women film. You know what I mean? But this one, it portrays everything well. Christian Bale does a good job. I kind of wish Winona Ryder's character and Christian Bale's character got together, but I understand, even though I don't like the two Christian Bale character ended up getting with, because it's kind of weird. So like he can't get with that one girl, so he falls in love with the little sister, the tiniest sister, the sister that he met when he was like a decent age himself. He met that girl when she was like a little child, and then ends up marrying her. It's kind of weird. Kind of weird. You even see from the clip, hashtag Joe Laurie. It's a better ship. It's a better ship. I cannot lie to you. And I don't like the person that Winona Ryder's character got with. I don't like him. I'm like, he looks too old. He looks too old. Like, it looks creepy in a way. So that's why I'm like, on like who they end up with. But besides those weird ships, whatever that ended up happening, couples getting together thing, it was a really fun film. Kirsten Dunst as a child, pretty fun. The other actresses did pretty well. I liked the film. As much as I'm like, I understand why they replaced Kirsten Dunst at the second half, because she's a child and they need her to age up. But the fact that she was the only recast, but the fact that she was the only one, so, all right, fine. A little weird, but fine. Anyways, that is why Little Women is at number 8. And now we shall move on to number 7.
I'm Batman.
And for a number that is not 6, that is not 8. For number 7, yes, I am delayed. For number 7, we have Batman Begins. Batman Begins is really, like, I recently I rewatched it for this. I didn't rewatch some of the films that I've already seen in here. Like, I didn't rewatch Dark Knight Rises, but I did rewatch Batman Begins, and I thought about rewatching Dark Knight Rises, but I watched a YouTube video on it, basically, so just to remind myself. It's been a minute. It's been a month or two, you know? But yeah, Batman Begins is pretty good. I like Scarecrow. Cillian Murphy does a good job. Obviously, Christian Bale, as usual. It's the same thing, where he plays a good Bruce Wayne, good Batman, but he looks kind of weird in the Batsuit. That's it. But, you know, Ra's al Ghul, Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul. As much as I'd rather... I think there's a level of subversion with that, because Ra's al Ghul is supposed to be Middle Eastern. He looks a little more American. But I think it's more that he's playing Henry Ducard and not Ra's al Ghul. He's just taking the title of Ra's al Ghul kind of thing. So it's fine. I really enjoyed this film. I like a good origin. This one, as I said, it's really close to Dark Knight Rises there, and the films in between, they're very close together, and this is when the gap will start to happen with the film, with the next film, which the next one is very close to my heart. I really enjoy that film. So this is why Batman Begins is a pretty good film, and this is why I really enjoyed it. And it's at number 7, and now we shall move on to number 6.
Nothing in there about my trunk and your lovely little portmanteau.
You're holding the 62 edition of the SCCA.
You can stick this bloody sticker where the sun
Hey,
don't
Bill.
shine.
Hey,
All
Bill,
right?
what seems to be the problem,
Well,
Bill?
the problem is that Bill here is an arsehole.
No, he doesn't mean that.
No, yes, he does.
No,
yes,
he
he
really
does.
doesn't
Yes,
mean
no,
that.
he
He's just
really
fooling
does
with you,
think
Bill.
that
He's just
Bill
fooling
is an arsehole.
Bill, let me
I'm just doing my job here.
Bill, in my experience, listen to me, something like this, there's always a middle ground. All right, now Ken's out of line.
And I'm just
all right?
doing my job.
I understand you are. You know how he gets on a race day. You know that, all right? But you're not going to DQ us over at Trump.
Happy Bill?
Yeah, I'll handle it.
And for number 6, we have the movie Ford versus Ferrari. This movie is a lot of fun. I really like this film. I really do. It's a racing film. I love Christian Bale's performance, one of his best. It's just so much fun in that. And it's really enjoyable, you know? I believe Matt Damon is the person that's also in this. He does a good job. Christian Bale obviously does excellent job. There's some frustrating points with the person is basically the enemy, but that's his intention. You're supposed to not like him. You're supposed to be like, shut up. John Bernthal does great in here. I love John Bernthal, bro. I love some John Bernthal. You know, Punisher. I love me some John Bernthal. And this is a really enjoyable film, really good racing film. I don't understand the little brake neutral thing with the stick shift. I don't understand how that works, but it looks really cool. So, but it looks cool. Yeah, but it actually does work. Obviously it's based on a true story, so the fact that I was like, oh man, he died. And I was like, well, it makes sense. I mean, it happened in real life, so. But did they have to include it? Probably, yeah. But yeah, so I really enjoyed this film. I really love this, like, especially in theaters, seeing racing, like, it's like, It's really, really fun. And that is why it is at number 6. And after this, we're going to be entering the top 5. Woo, 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 woo. Yes, sir. I hope I've enjoyed this video so far. And now we're going to move on to number 5. And now it's time for number 8. Number 8 of the Christian Bale quiz. And for number 8, we have this question. So when Steven Spielberg was choosing who to play the lead role in his movie Empire of the Sun, he chose from a lot of kids. But out of how many kids did he choose a 13-year-old Christian Bale for the lead role in his movie? How many did he choose from? A, 4,000, B, 1,000,000, C, 100, or D, 3,000? I'll give you a little bit of time. Gonna give you a little bit of time. I totally didn't have to re-look up what the answer was. Da, 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 da. Meow, 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 meow. 5, 4, 3, and 2, and 1, and time is up. Yes, I know I count faster. Don't talk about that. We don't. Alright, time is up. And we're going... And I hope you guessed correctly. I hope you guessed 4,000. Yes, out of 4,000 kids Steven Spielberg could have chosen, he chose Christian Bale. And that was probably one of the best choices he's ever made in his life. And now, I hope you got that one correct. But here's a little fun fact about Christian Bale on the set of Empire of the Sun. So on the set of that film, Empire of the Sun, 13-year-old Bale developed a crush on a 12-year-old Drew Barrymore when she visited the set once. He admitted that apparently in an interview somewhere, that he had a crush on Drew Barrymore, if you know who that is. So yeah, I hope...
Up and say how much I effing love this movie.
Oh, thanks.
It is
Thank you.
easily one of my favorites of the year. You guys both did such a tremendous job, along with James Mangold, who directed the shit out of this.
Yeah, he did such a great job with it.
really did.
Look at your leather brace. What do you call them?
This
Bands?
is actually elephant hair and giraffe hair.
Is it really?
You can believe it. I swear.
And the other one?
This is leather.
All right.
But
Do you remember that band, Aha?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Take On
Take
Me.
On Me.
Look at the two of you. Big fans, aren't you?
Right.
But didn't that bloke used to wear those?
I don't remember, but we've really gotten off on the tangents here, and I want to pull us back.
But they did a video. Wasn't the Take On Me video about a race car driver?
Was it?
Wasn't it? Like a guy trying to... Yes, it was, right. There you go. So actually, I was right on point.
I did not see that coming. I give you props. Okay. So listen, you guys are both two of my favorite actors, and you deliver such like amazing performances in everything I see. I'm just curious. Do you guys ever sincerely get nervous before doing a scene, or are you reached a place in your career where you sort of like you feel like you have it, if you know what I mean?
I don't get nervous before a scene necessarily, unless I'm just my head's somewhere else that day and I know I'm not in the right headspace and I'm going, all right, come on mate, get there. Before a film, the entirety of the film, I always go, what? How come they think I can do this, and where do I begin? And I don't know if that comes from not being trained, and so I kind of every time feel like I'm winging it again. Let's see how this goes. But I always get that feeling ahead of time of oh dear. I hope nobody realizes that I don't know how to do this.
I was nervous on the first day of this one because I hadn't worked for 2 years, and I just remember going to set the first day, and it felt foreign, whereas for so many years it feels like kind of what life is supposed to feel like, and I remember I kind of went, what am I doing, you know? And it's the same version of what Christian's talking about, but it's usually before the movie. I mean, I remember saying that to Soderbergh before we did Behind the Candelabra. I was with him the day before, and I just said, I have no idea what I'm going to do tomorrow. You know what I mean? And it's like you've thought about it, and it's like, well, I guess now we're just going to do it, and something's going to happen.
See what happens.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's bad to feel nervous. I think it just shows that you're still
Yeah.
excited by it. You still feel something by it, you know.
Sure.
I'd be a little bit troubled if. Sorry, you want this?
No.
You want this answer to stop, but I just want to bring it back to Morton Harkett.
I am curious though, with making this is such a tremendous film. Do you know on day one that, like, man, we're making something special here? Do you know it when you have the script, or is it only when it finally you see the finished film? Are you like, oh wow, that really came together?
In my experience, it's when you see the finished film. Like all you can hope for by the time you end shooting is to feel like, well, I feel like we got everything we set out to get. You know, I love that script. I feel like every day went pretty well, and there's not a day I wish I could have back. Now let's hope it all coheres and it comes together. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't.
Sorry, that's just going round and round my head.
Listen, it's amazing. So there's a really fun scene for me of you two fighting when you are going to get the groceries. And you guys have been in such big movies with these big choreographed fights. What is it like doing something where it's just the two of you really just fighting on the grass? Like, how much fun was that scene?
Way more realistic.
Yeah.
Way more realistic about what a fight between Christian Bale and Matt Damon would really look like. Yes.
Yeah, they said just have a fight and we'll tape it. It's basically what happened. But yeah, no, it was fun to do a silly fight like that. And we always have to take those things really seriously and look really like we know what we're doing. So it was fun to have a fight between two pathetic middle-aged guys who don't really know how to fight.
On that note, I need to go. I seriously, congrats on this movie.
We've entered the top 5. So far, we've ranked 35 movies, 35 films that range from good to decent to okay to trash. We are in the good category. For number 5, I almost said 25, Lamau. We have the film The Machinist. This movie is very off-putting, very creepy. One of my main compliments of this film, besides the obvious good acting performance and the dedication Christian Bale gave to this role, is the color palette. And that's how you know I'm a cinephile. Anyways, yeah, the color palette. I loved the gray tones in the color palette it decided to portray itself. Christian Bale does an amazing job just portraying a crazy guy. His dedication. He lost so much weight for this film, to where he became a scrawny skeleton. You could breathe and he'd stop existing, which I think that is a line somewhere around that, right? Look, a gust of wind can come by and he would fade away because he's extremely scrawny and he was so off-putting. And it's such a good, well-crafted film that you gotta see. You'll be unsettled. You'll be like, ugh. But it is such a good film. And I like it. And that is why Machinist is at number 5. It would have been higher. But one of them's biased and the rest are better. Are even better. So let's move on to number 4.
Trouble tonight. That's a good possibility. He comes in here against a good boxer, a young man who can punch, and I would like to say at this time that physically they're just about equal.
Let's see if that's a knockdown. This is unbelievable. Ackland just walked over it. Nobody seems to know what's happening.
For number 4, we have the movie The Fighter. This film is very good. I love this film. It has Christian Bale and what's his name? Mark Wahlberg. That's his name. And also Amy Adams. This is another Christian Bale, Amy Adams film, except they're not lovers. She's lovers to Mark Wahlberg's character, who's Mark Wahlberg's character is Christian Bale's brother. So, yeah. Christian Bale plays a trainer who's all like pride of the glory days, even though the glory days were kind of a lie. You know what I mean? Kind of weird, kind of sad, you know. But it's a really good film. I really like this. I'm a sucker for boxing films for some reason. I like boxing films. You know, for some reason, I just really like those kinds of films. And this one is no exception, even though I think Cinderella Man is my favorite boxing movie. I think that's what it's called. Really good film. And I really like this film, too. So, yeah. That is why this film is at number 4. And this next one, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to warn you, because this is going to be controversial. Okay? So, number 4 is The Fighter. Let's move on to number 3.
This is my vow. All gods will die.
For number 3, we have the film Thor, Love and Thunder. Some people think it's trash. Some people think it's great. I'm one of the people who thinks it's pretty good. And it's kind of biased here. So don't take this position seriously. You can take the rest of them seriously. But this one is not as serious because I'm a sucker for Marvel films. So, I don't know. I like Thor Love and Thunder. Some people complain that it's too jokey. And yeah, there's a lot of jokes. But I like it. Christian Bale's performance, excellent. He's one of the best Marvel villains to date. Freaking Gord the God Butcher. Come on. Great villain in the comics. And he portrays him really well. All I wish is that there was more. I want more. You know, it's just, it's a pretty good, film. I like it. It's very enjoyable, very fun. I'm willing to bet within the next coming months or when the next Marvel film hits, this one will lower. But for now, it'll hold its position at number 3, Thor, Love and Thunder. And now let's move on to number 2. We're almost there, boys. We're almost there.
Why isn't it possible? It's just not. Why not, you stupid bastard?
For number 2, to no one's surprise, the only reason number 1 is what number 1 is because of superhero bias. But even then, it's a really good film. But anyways, let's talk about number 2. A legendary film. A film I actually haven't seen. But I've seen so many reactions and I know seen so many memes that I feel like I've understanded it. And I know how good of a performance Christian Bale gives. in the movie American Psycho. Christian Bale, this is Christian Bale's best performance. He's so good in this film. This movie's insane, funny, crazy, metaphorical. This movie is really, really good. And I really enjoy the way it's portrayed. And I'm suddenly got quiet because I heard something. I'm sorry. Sorry for the interruption. Out of all things. Yeah, so Christian Bale does an excellent performance. And, yeah, I really enjoyed this film. It's very creative, the way it portrays things. It leaves you questioning things. This movie's just... American Psycho is such a good film. And I highly recommend it if you're fine with seeing freaking naked Christian Bale, bloody Christian Bale, gore, sex. If you're fine with all that, which is why I've never seen the film actually, because I don't like that intense amount of things in a film, you know what I mean? So, while it is a really good film, it has a lot of vulgar stuff, so I wouldn't recommend it to people who can't handle that, but it is a really good film. So that is why American Psycho is at number 2, and you can guess what number 1 is. But let's move on to number 1.
This picture of Heath Ledger right behind you as the Joker. Yeah. But I think in order for him to work, your character has to have that much more credibility. Right. And those scenes with Michael Caine especially, I think, make him so much more real.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Obviously we've had the origin story with Batman Begins. We've learned why Bruce Wayne chooses to create the creature of Batman. And then we have 3 really very different personalities. And with Michael Caine's character Alfred and Rachel, you see the genuine side to Bruce Wayne. The very personal and quite lonely figure. Mm-hmm. And then you have the playboy billionaire who Gotham sees, who is the true farce. That is the true fake. Right. And then you have the Batman, who is actually real as well. But which is Bruce Wayne's means of challenging his rage and enabling him to have something of an ordinary life.
Tonight, you're gonna break your one rule. I'm considering it. No, there's only minutes left, so you're gonna have to play my little game if you want to save one of them. Yeah. For a while there, I thought you really were a dent. The way you threw yourself after her. Look at you go! What does Harvey know about you and his little bunny? Where are they? Killing is making a choice. Where are they? Choose between one life or the other. Your friend, the district attorney, or his blushing bride to be. You have nothing to threaten me with. Nothing to do with all your strength.
And for number 1, the grand movie. The best Christian Bale movie in his entire itinerary. I don't think that was the right word. I don't think that was the right word. But it feels fitting, at least. The best movie in Christian Bale's catalog out of the 40 movies that I have reviewed here today. Number 1 is The Dark Knight. Gasp. Okay. Gasp. Can you believe it? I got superhero bias. Plus, it's an actual good film. Plus, it's directed by Christopher Nolan. Plus, it has Christian Bale. Plus, it's one of Heath Ledger's last performances. Plus, it's got Maggie Gyllenhaal, whatever her name is. Plus, it's got a good performance from Two-Face. Plus, like, so many good things about this movie that you just can barely grasp of just how good this film is, from every shot to every line. The writing, top tier. The writing's top tier. The acting, top tier. Especially from Heath Ledger and Christian Bale. Obviously, Christian Bale looks a little weird, but he doesn't look as weird here. Michael Caine, I'm pretty sure that's his name. The person who plays the Scarecrow person comes back. Cillian Murphy. All those people come back. And all these actors just phenomenal. Phenomenal. The acting is top tier. The writing is top tier. The camera work is top tier. This movie looks great. Doesn't look good as the Batman. I actually had it on my number one Batman film. But this movie's really good. Christian Bale shines here. He's not his best performance, but man, is it close. And I love me some Batman, so I'm a superhero guy, so, you know, really fun movie. And that is why it is number one. Out of all the movies, all the 40 Christian Bale movies, that this is the one that I think is the best. I hope you enjoyed. But it is not over yet. I want to show you we have one more question I want to ask. One more quiz question. And maybe one more interview video. Christian Bale is amazing. So watch this. It is now time. We have ranked all the movies and all that. So, we answer the final question. You know what the number one movie is. The Dark Knight Rises. But now we must ask the final question. The final question to get a good grade on your quiz today. I hope you pass, because if you don't pass, I can't call you a Balehead, which apparently was what the fandom, like Christian Bale stans are called Baleheads. It's kind of cringe. So for the final question number 9, we have the question. On the set of the movie Little Women, what actress introduced Bale to who would be his future wife, who he is still married to this day? Is it the actress Kirsten Dunst? Would it be B, Winona Ryder, C, Susan Sarandon, or D, Trini Alvarado, something like that? All those actresses were in Little Women, so I made sure of that. But only one of them introduced Bale to his future wife. I'll give you a little bit of time. I hope you learned a lot about Bale in this process. I really do. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. And for the final question, I hope you guessed it right. I hope you answered confidently that the answer, I hope you got correct, is B, Winona Ryder of Stranger Things now fame. So, yes, I hope you got these 9 questions right. And if you didn't, I hope you learned a good amount about Christian Bale. And I hope you enjoy. Now, before we end this video, I do have one more movie review. A review that I will not be recording for a couple months. unless I get impatient. I'll leave an editor's note if I got impatient. I probably won't, because I'm going to be making videos in the meantime. I'll be reviewing the movie Amsterdam, and I will tell you where in the ranking it would have been, and then I'll show you a list, and then I'll close it out. So, I hope you enjoyed this little quiz.
Where is my eye, Harold?
Right here.
I never expected two decorated soldiers to get knocked out in my own home.
No, just one, sir.
Oh, that's right, Mr. Woodman. You were too fast for Carlton.
I was.
They started talking to Valerie, and she's not well, and please, darling girl, stop crying.
It's only natural for her to cry. Maybe she just found out her friend is dead. We couldn't keep it from her for forever.
I'm not so ill that I can't talk to people. You leave me here with this invalid when you know very well that I think she should be hospitalized. It's for her own good.
Ever say that to me
I
again?
can't handle it.
I'll
It'll be
put
a better
you in a
place
hospital.
for you.
I'll send you to a witch trial.
Here.
Ladies, stop. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I had to raise my voice.
Alright, so welcome to the final part of this. Here is my Amsterdam review. Before this comes out, there will be my official Amsterdam review coming out, but this will be a part of this, or it might come out at the same time, one of the two. But, welcome to my Amsterdam review, and yeah, it was decent. It was a decent movie. Christian Bale obviously did a really good job. I think this is one of his best performances, or one of his best characters, best written characters. He's had some amazing performances, but I think he did decently. This movie has a very stacked cast, and the actors is the main highlight of the story, but overall it's just decent to okay. Yeah, I think that's basically. It's just decent. The acting was pretty good. The story was overall the story was pretty decent, and the writing was pretty decent. But I think it's there's nothing that really wowed me. You feel me? Like there's maybe some places that made me laugh. There were some points that I'm like, or all that stuff. But I don't think it's that. Yeah, I think it's okay. It's pretty decent. It's pretty entertaining. So weirdly, now let me tell you where I would have ranked this. And right now, obviously I said it's well, there's things that wowed me, and I think I'm trying to justify this because for some reason this is the position that I would have put it, and it's where I put it. On the Christian Bale ranking, this movie would have gone in behind Little Women, which is at number 8, and in front of Mowgli. It would have taken the number 9 spot. So, now that we've reviewed the Amsterdam movie, which will be another review if you want to check out my channel, whereas more in depth, and also has a special guest. Man, it's been a while since I've recorded anything for this review. But with that, I'm gonna show you a list where I'll show you all the numbers, bing, 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 I'll show you a list and a quick snappy review, a quick snappy ranking for number 40, number 39, ding, 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 ding. I'm gonna show you a list, and then we'll close it out. See you then.
I adored the relationship between Bert and Harold and their pact to always look after each other.
Yeah.
Which actor always really supported you and guided you when you were starting out in the industry?
They might not have known it, but it was really Rowan Atkinson and Gary Oldman were the people that I looked up to. I first worked, that was my very first job was with Rowan Atkinson, and I saw him doing kind of an early Mr. Bean thing, but I would see him just go from being this very quiet man, to just this, you know, absolutely loud and colourful character and very physical. And that was, I didn't really study acting, so I've studied Rowan for that. And then watching Gary in many films. So they've been a real constant for me. Because all I did other than that was like a weekend at the YWCA off of Tottenham Court Road. So they were the people who really taught me how it's done.
Do you remember any advice that they gave you?
No, they never gave me any advice, and I think most advice is useless anyway, isn't it? But you watch it and learn from watching.
Alright, and now for the quick and snappy ranking. This is going to be a ranking of every single Christian Bale movie. We've already talked about what the rankings are, but if you want to skip to this part just to, you know, remind yourself what each position is, I'm going to tell you right now. So, there's 41 movies on this list, and for number 41, we have the movie Reign of Fire. For number 40, we have Captain Corelli's Mandolin. For number 39, we have Equilibrium. For number 38, we have Knight of Cups. For number 37, we have The Big Short. For number 36, we have Rescue Dawn. For number 35, we have Royal Deceit, or an alternate title, Prince of Jutland. For number 34, we have American Hustle. For number 33, we have Laurel Canyon. For number 32, we have Treasure Island. For number 31, we have Newsies. For number 30, we have Flowers of War. For number 29, we have Public Enemies. For number 28, we have Henry V. For number 27, we have Exodus, Gods and Kings. For number 26, we have A Portrait of a Lady. For number 25, we have The New World. For number 24, we have Pocahontas. For number 23, we have Hostiles. For number 22, we have Out of the Furnace. For number 21, we have Shaft. For number 20, we have Harsh Times. For number 19, we have Vice. For number 18, we have Empire of the Sun. For number 17, we have Velvet Goldmine. For number 16, we have I'm Not There. For number 15, we have Swing Kids. For number 14, we have 3:10 to Yuma. For number 13, we have The Promise. For number 12, we have The Dark Knight Rises. For number 11, we have The Prestige. For number 10, we have Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle. For number 9, we have Amsterdam. For number 8, we have Little Women. For number 7, we have Batman Begins. For number 6, we have Ford versus Ferrari. For number 5, we have The Machinist. For number 4, we have The Fighter. For number 3, we have Thor: Love and Thunder. Controversial, I know. But, and honestly, now as time has passed, it should be lower, but I'm going to keep it there. Number 3, Thor: Love and Thunder. Number 2, American Psycho. And then for number 1, to no one's surprise, The Dark Knight. And this has been my ranking of all 41 Christian Bale films, minus a couple of exceptions and a couple that I may have not been able to get access to, like movies like Metroland and like that one Terminator movie I couldn't access. But besides that, that is all the Christian Bale movies ranked. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video as I had as much fun as I did making this. It has been a long time coming, and I really hope you enjoy this one. So with that, I will see you all guys next time. And yeah, if you enjoyed, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe. Be sure to comment what you thought of the ranking. Comment your own ranking of the movies if you've seen all these movies. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed. Or like comment what you thought of a certain one, or you know, any of the others. Just comment what you thought. Subscribe if you really enjoyed. Obviously like if you enjoyed. And maybe you can check out some of my other content. I am still making some movie reviews and all that stuff. I'm still working on way more movie reviews, and I really hope you enjoy. And I will be watching the movie The Pale Blue Eye, and in that video I will be telling you where it would go in the Christian Bale ranking. But that's not going to be a part of this video, because obviously I'm not waiting more months for that. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you all next time.